Hi everyone, welcome to Almapura Awakenings. My name is Nikki. I'm so happy you're here with me today. I have a great topic of conversation that I wanted to share with you today. I have some notes over here on the side that I'm going to be referring to, so if I look like I'm not looking at you and I'm just kind of reading off of a screen, I am in fact doing that, but that's just for the purpose of me staying on track and keeping you up to date with what I am talking about, and hopefully without the ability to go off on too many tangents. So today's topic is called Heaven on Earth or Hell on Earth. Which do you choose? So, if we can have a choice of heaven on earth or hell on earth, how do we know how to choose heaven on earth or hell on earth? Because a lot of times we make decisions in our life and we take action in our life that is for the purpose of attaining blissfulness on earth, that is for the purpose of creating our heaven on earth, but it never really works out. And more often than not, we don't have a heaven on earth experience. We have a hell on earth experience. This is supposed to be a beautiful place, but sometimes during the day it just feels like shit, like earth feels like shit sometimes. And that's not how it's supposed to feel. And we spend a long time in an internal battle with ourselves that we don't even know why our experience turns out to be negative experiences. We don't know why we fall in love with somebody today only to fall out of love with them tomorrow. We don't know why we really, really enjoyed this experience a couple weeks ago, but now today we hate this experience. We can't figure out why it's so difficult to attain the heaven on earth feeling that a lot of people talk about. And that really is the two choices, and we have free will. So we often hear, it's the way you decide. It's how you decide to view the experiences that you are in. You get to choose to be happy. But if something happens that distresses me, I can choose to be happy all I want. Doesn't mean I'm going to feel happy. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about where the actual choice is to live heaven on earth, where the actual choice is to live hell on earth, and how do you go about doing that? So that's what we're going to discuss today. And I have some notes over here to the side. I am going to try to stay on track so I don't go off on too many tangents today. So let's go back to the beginning of time, because this is going to take us through the story of Adam and Eve that will help us to recognize when things shifted, when things stopped being heaven on earth. So we know that God created the earth, and on the sixth day of creation, he created Adam and Eve in his image, and he gave Adam and Eve paradise. He gave them paradise, heaven on earth. That was his gift to them. And that's the way that their whole eternity was going to be. And he wanted to populate the earth and have everybody that was born on the earth just experience that constant state of grace, that constant state of paradise. And that's the way it started. But what happened? A little while into their days in the garden, into their days of heaven on earth, along came a serpent, and he enticed Adam and Eve to eat from the forbidden tree, which was the tree of knowledge. Now, when God created Adam and Eve in the paradise, he said, you have everything you could possibly need. The only thing is, I don't want you to eat from that tree. That is the forbidden fruit on that tree, so do not eat it. And of course, when the serpent came along and he enticed them to eat it, they did eat it. And now they had knowledge. They attained a knowledge that God would have preferred, that they never even knew about. A knowledge that he wished they wouldn't have become aware of. That knowledge that they gained when they ate that forbidden fruit from that tree of knowledge was the knowledge of evil. It was the knowledge of negativity. It was the knowledge of negative energies that also have the potential to be on earth. So when God created Adam and Eve on the sixth day of creating the world, He gave them paradise on earth, heaven on earth, and that's the way it was supposed to be, and that's what we're supposed to choose. That's what we're supposed to try and attain, is to live in this state of love. Love, by the way, is a state of existence. It's not really an emotion. It's a state of existence, and that's the state of existence that they were living in all the way up until they ate that fruit. So they made a choice to attain a knowledge, and that knowledge that they attained turned out to be the knowledge of negative energy on earth. So now on earth, Adam and Eve had to deal with godly energies or heavenly energies, and they had to deal with, let's say, earth energies or negative energies. So if we're supposed to be able to choose between one or the other, what is our actual choice? Like, actually, what is the choice? So let's review the two different types of energies that inhabit the earth, both godly energies and evil energies, or positive energies and negative energies. And let's review those. Okay, so here are the negative energies. The negative energies, and if you are Christian, you probably have heard of these negative energies. They are wrath, which is a strong anger or hate towards another person. It's acting in a hostile manner. It's wrath is also where we seek revenge. Pride is the second negative energy that runs around the earth, and pride is vanity, or it's loving and esteeming yourself above everyone else and above God. The third negative energy is called lust. Lust is a strong passion or longing for something, like you just have to have it. The desire is deep. A lot of people recognize that lust would be connected to sexual desire, but it really is about the passion or the longing for something, the need to have something. We have gluttony, and gluttony is the fourth negative energy that kind of roams around the world, and this is an overindulgence of anything to the extreme. So food or drink or alcohol or drugs, or consuming anything in excess in an unhealthy manner. The fifth negative energy is greed, and this is the desiring of material things to an excess, placing too much importance on money, on possessions. It's like an excessive pursuit of material things. The sixth negative energy is sloth, which is laziness, and this is excessive laziness, failure to act and utilize one's talents. It's denying God's will for the sake and comfort of yourself. And the seventh negative energy is called envy or jealousy. And this is resenting other people for the way they look, for the possessions that they have. Envy is where you have to have more than your neighbor, or you have to be prettier, or you have to be better, or you want what they have, so you kind of covet their things. So now these are the negative energies that are earthbound negative energies, and we actually choose to utilize those energies in place of love as our state of existence. So let's go back for a moment. People need to understand, we as human beings need to understand that wrath and anger and pride and lust and gluttony and greed and sloth and envy, they are not emotions, okay? They are energies, and they are negative energies. So I really want to define that. They are energies. They are not emotions. So when you say, I feel wrath, I feel angry, please understand that you are not experiencing at that moment an emotion. You are experiencing a negative energy, an additional energy that has come into your being of humanity. Okay, so those are the negative energies that are on earth. There are 7 main ones. If you're Christian, you've heard about them. They're called the deadly sins, but they again are not emotions. They are not sins. They are like energies. Well, they're sins, but think of a sin kind of more like an energy that you host or an energy that you accept into your body. Okay, now we have heavenly energies or loving energies as well. And those loving energies are, number one, patience or forgiveness. It's acting with mercy and charity when resolving conflicts with somebody. Humility, which is selflessness or recognizing the skills and talents and all the good qualities and gifts that you have actually come from God. This is humility. Chastity, which is purity or self-control. Temperance, which is self-restraint. This is a very beautiful godly energy. Taking all things in moderation and for the point of goodness and toward the point of goodness. We have charity. Charity is giving generously of love, of possessions, the willingness to give, having nobility, and nobility of thought is also charity. Diligence. Diligence is zeal, integrity, it's following God's will, it is being a hard worker, even if it means sacrificing your own personal comfort. You would still do that, to be diligent, to complete something, to work hard. Kindness or admiration, compassion is another positive energy. That's our 7th one, and that's compassion and friendship, sympathy without prejudice, kindness and wishing the best for others. So just breaking it down like that, now we have 7 negative energies and we have 7 positive energies. One of the things that I want to acknowledge to you is that we are human beings and we are spirit beings. So our spirit self, our higher self, is directly connected to God. So that means that when our soul, when we live our human experience based on the nature of our soul, then we live a human experience with our soul being the dominant energy that functions within this body. So if my soul, which is connected to God, functions in my body as the dominant expression of life, as the dominant expression of energy within my body, then the qualities that I will express to the world are going to be patience, humility, chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, and kindness, because I am going to host those energies within the combination of my human self and my spirit self. That makes up who I am, right? And so I get to choose which energies come into the expression of me. And it's easy if I live with my soul, which is connected to God, as the dominant participating energy in my body, then those positive qualities are the qualities that I will display to the world. If, however, I do not live with my soul as the dominant energy in relationship to my human experience, I may host other energies in place of the energies that we talked about, being kindness, diligence, charity, temperance, chastity, humility, and patience, right? Because my soul will entertain these energies. My soul loves when these energies are accepted by my being to express them on earth. Because if I do, that gives the people around me and myself kind of a paradise or a heaven on earth when I host or when I hold tightly to the qualities that match the vibration of my soul, right? So my soul And those energies, patience, kindness, love, etc., they match the vibration of my soul, because all of that is connected to God. And I have a physical body. So I get to, in union with my spirit, invite all of these positive energies to share experience and time with me. Okay? Now, let's flip it to the other side. That would be picking heaven on earth, right? But let's flip it to the other side, where we could potentially end up picking hell on earth. And how do we pick hell on earth? Well, if we pick hell on earth, then we are going to host other energies on earth within our human body. We are going to maybe host wrath, pride, lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, and envy, right? So those are the 7 negative energies. Now we have a choice which of these energies to host. Keep in mind that because our soul is next to God, that all of the godly energies, all of these heavenly virtues share space in our body with our soul. So our soul often invites or welcomes in these different godly energies of patience and kindness, etc. But I'm sure that all of us at some point or another have chosen to host the other energies, which are our negative energies. So that means that the energy that we invite into our human body for expression would be the negative energies, the ones that we learned about when Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, the knowledge of evil. We learned about that at that time. Remember, that's what converted our heaven on earth paradise to a hell on earth. Okay? So now I'm sure that you have met, and I have met, people that host these different energies, such as greed and lust and pride and wrath and gluttony and sloth and envy. And that is the dominant energy that their human experience functions with. Okay? We all know people like that. I've hosted wrath before, right? I've been angry before. And I used to say I felt angry, but really recognized that we have a choice of heaven on earth or hell on earth. And the way that we choose heaven on earth is when we invite positive energy into our being to share space with our human and spirit self. And those are the 7 godly virtues that I just explained to you. We also know that there are a lot of people walking around on the earth that choose to host something completely different. And that would be the 7 negative energies that we host within our bodies, okay? Keep in mind, and I said this a couple times, but it is so important to recognize that these are not emotions, folks. These are energies. You have a spirit. That is an energy. Your mom and dad living in heaven, they are an energy. They are a spirit. They are energy. And these deadly sins and heavenly virtues, they are energies. They are like their own collection of vibration, their own collection of energy. Some of them are negative and some of them are positive. But kind of think of them like they can possess you, right? That they can possess you. You can welcome them in, you can invite them in, and you could utilize them in order to function here on earth, okay? So now the choice is really clearly defined, okay? It is defined. You have a choice, heaven on earth or hell on earth. If you want to live heaven on earth, you need to host energy that is virtuous, that is godly, that is connected to a state of love. That's the energy that you have to invite into your being in order to create a heaven on earth experience, not only for yourself, but for the people that you love and the people that you come in contact with every day. You can also choose to live hell on earth, and that's where you choose not to host the positive energies, but to host the negative energies. and the greed and the gluttony and the wrath and the pride and the sloth and the envy, you can invite that into your being, and then you can use that as your dominant expression of who you are. And if you host those energies, guess what you create for yourself? Hell on earth. Guess what you create for all the people that you love and all the situations that you partake in? You create hell on earth for them as well. So here what we're recognizing is that we have a choice, and that we have to choose which energy to host in our being, and that will create the experience that we want. So I want to explain that if you are struggling with one of these negative energies, then you can invite a different energy in. Okay, so let me find this, because this is good. Patience, if you invite patience in, you can heal wrath. You can push wrath out of you if you invite patience in its place. You can utilize humility and invite humility into your being in order to dispose of pride, right? Because pride is the negative energy of humility. So that kind of heals that. Chastity and purity, you can invite those energies into your being, and that heals lust. You can invite temperance into your being, and that will heal gluttony. You can invite charity into your being, and that will heal you of greed. That will push greed out. You can invite diligence, which will heal laziness and push it out of your body. You can invite kindness, and you can invite compassion into you, and that will push out all negative. So you see the choice? It is really, really clearly defined. You get to pick what energies you want to host in your body in order to create an experience of heaven on earth or hell on earth. Now, why do I think that these are not emotions? And here's why. And here's kind of where this whole understanding happened. As you know, I am a medium spiritualist, and I was in a session one day, and when I was in this session, I was speaking to my client, and she had relatives that came from heaven to visit, and it was really a lovely session and a lovely time with her. And when I was on the phone with her, this female energy, a woman energy, came in. But when she came into the session, she kind of floated in like an angel, and when she came, I felt this like I just felt peaceful and happy, and I felt joy in my heart, and I fell in love with this energy or this spirit that had come into the session. So I started to ask the lady that I was speaking to, my client, I said, so there's a woman here, and she is like super sweet and super loving and super nurturing, and she's just so calming, and I feel so great in her presence, and she's like a mom feeling to me, like I feel wrapped up in her. I said, so who in your family in heaven could you say, like, who would you think that is? Like, this is somebody who carries this beautiful energy. Like, who is she? And the lady says, oh, I don't know who you're talking about. So I kept trying to attain information from this energy, from this lady that had come into our session from heaven, and I couldn't get any confirmation that would tell me who this lady was. And I couldn't even get from the lady in heaven, the energy that came, I couldn't even get her to give me anything specific about their family or about the girl's family or even about her specifically. Just this knowledge that this beautiful woman, energy, loving, calm person came into our session. And I felt that vibration as it come in, and literally that energy, that woman just kind of came in, and I felt it in my heart. And well, needless to say, we couldn't figure out who it is. So I called my grandma, and my grandma lives in heaven. And so I asked my grandma, I said, hey, can you tell me who this lady is that came into this session? And like, who is she? Because the girl I'm talking to doesn't know who this is. I don't recognize her. I don't know who she is. Like, whose family does she belong to? And then I heard the energy itself, not my grandmother, but the energy itself said to me in the way that I communicate with spirit, and said, I am Patience. And I was like, wait, what? What? What do you mean you're Patience? Like, you're a person named Patience, or you're like an energy named Patience? And she said, I am Patience. And I was like, so you're the energy Patience, which means that patience is not an emotion? And I'm not kidding you guys, it blew my fucking mind, because I'm like, wait a minute. You're not a person, you're an energy, but you feel like energy from God. Like, you feel like you're in heaven. You feel like love. You came in, and I feel awesome since you joined our session. And I could feel that energy come into me. Well, when I realized that that energy was not a dead person in heaven, that it was actually the energy of Patience, it blew my mind. So I asked during that session with her, I said, can I meet another energy like that? And then I had this flash in my brain that said, oh my gosh, that's one of the 7 heavenly virtues, is patience. I thought patience was an emotion, but patience is a thing. Like, she's real, like she's a thing, like an energy. So I said, well, can I meet, are there other ones? And I prayed on that for like a week. And then the following week, actually, I was in another session, and I was talking to this gentleman on the phone, and he was getting a little bit anxious about a situation that he was telling me about his job. And he was feeling a little frustrated, and he was feeling a little worried. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to stay in his job. And I, as I was in that session, I felt this other energy come in, and I really couldn't tell if it was like male or female. So I just started to ask the gentleman I was on the phone with, I said, I have an energy here from heaven. I said, and this energy like knows all things. I go, seriously, knows all things. So I really want you to take that and think about it and tell me who in your family in heaven was like the one that knew everything, like the one that had knowledge of all. Like, who in your family in heaven was like that? Because I think that might be the person that is coming into our session. And the guy couldn't think of anyone, and I couldn't think of anyone. So, when we can't figure out who a visitor is during a session, I just ask. I ask my grandma, or I ask the energy itself. And so I said to the energy, I go, well, who are you? Who are you? And the energy replied, I am wisdom. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, what? I am wisdom. And I was like, so you're not a dead person in heaven then? You're like a virtue, an energy. You're from heaven. You belong to God. You are part of God. And I know you're here in my session, but you're like speaking to me as if you're independent, which means that wisdom is not also a knowledge base. Wisdom is an energy. It is a godly energy. It is what you can invite into your being. And during that session, I spoke with wisdom. And in the session with the lady, I spoke with patience. So patience and wisdom were independent energies, not emotions, not feelings, not logic. That changed the game for me. 100% changed the game, because I always thought, well, why am I not patient? Why am I impatient? How come I'm like that? Well, I don't know if I ever independently invited patience to come into my being. I thought it was a feeling I was supposed to have. I didn't know it was an energy I was supposed to invite and pray for and include in my experience. Like, what? It works, folks. Invite it in. When you're pissed off, invite patience. Because patience will come and patience will heal you of wrath. I'm telling you, I tested this. It works. So those were my lessons on the heavenly virtues, on the energies that are provided for us, that we can invite into our being while we are here on earth for the purpose of creating heaven on earth. So, okay, now that was huge for me, but I'm going to take it now a step further. We're almost done, folks. I'm going to take it a step further. I was involved in a relationship with a friend of mine, and we were friends for many, many years. And in one of our conversations, I had come off of readings for the day, and my friend called me on her way home from work, and she was telling me about her day at work. And when she was telling me about her day, she was angry. Like, she was just pissed. She had a rotten day, and there was a little bit of a venomous kind of streak in her when I was talking to her. Now, I want to preface this by saying I had just come off sessions for the whole day, so I had been in readings, meaning that my consciousness was a little bit up here, so it was a little bit elevated, and it was a little bit outside of my function of humanity. So I was still kind of in reading mode. So I'm having the conversation with her, and she's telling me all about her day, and I can tell, I can hear it, that she's really angry and feeling anger. And as we're talking and she's expressing herself, I started to feel angry. And I felt it like starting in my stomach. And I recognized that it was happening. And just as it was happening, I saw like a negative energy, like a silhouette of a man sitting inside of my friend and coming out of my friend. So what I saw was like this boot, like with a spur on it. I saw a boot with a spur on it, and it came out of my friend's stomach. And it started to go into my stomach. And so when I saw that, it was a negative energy. It looked like the silhouette of a man, and he was inside of my friend, and he came out of her stomach, and like one boot went into me and one boot stayed in her. And as that boot was coming into my solar plexus or into my stomach, the man that it was connected to, which didn't have a face, he was just like this black silhouette, came face to face with me in energy and went, I got you. And I was like, wait, what? And I felt this anger, and I go, well, you can't come in me. Like, who are you? You can't come in me. And it said, I'm wrath, and I got you. And it went into my stomach, and I felt myself start getting really angry with my friend and really angry at the things that she was saying. And I was like, okay, hold on a minute. This is freaky. So I actually had to get off the phone with her, and then I did a real quick prayer, and I pushed that negative energy out of me. And I was like, you get out. You cannot live here in the name of Jesus Christ. Like, you need to get out, wrath. Like, get out of my body. And as I said that, I could feel it come out of my body. I felt like that boot with the spur. I felt it kind of stretch out of my body and go back in her direction, which means now I had expelled wrath from entering my body fully. At that moment, I then invited patience and kindness, and those are the energies that then came into my being. So basically, me and my spirit were one thing. We were on the phone with my friend, and my friend was angry. Remember, that is a state of existence. It is its own independent energy. And what I recognized is that wrath somehow got into her during her day at work. And when she got off of work, she was so pissed off that she called me, her friend, to bitch about her day. And she started to bitch about her day. And as she was doing that, anger was the dominant energy within her body, soul experience. So what she was expressing was anger, which isn't my friend, and it isn't my friend's spirit. It's this additional extra energy that got into her during her day. And now that it got into her, wrath's job is to try to get into me. And wrath did try to get into me until I realized that it was trying to get into me. And then I kicked it out and I replaced it by inviting energy of patience to come. So basically, the way that you are going to live on earth is by choosing what you host. If you host wrath, you are hosting a negative energy. Your body and your soul is hosting negative energy. Now, keep in mind, your soul is the part of you that is connected to God. So when you include energy, when energy comes in, your soul steps back. Now the energy controlling your body is wrath. Your soul is only connected to God. Your soul is only connected to love and patience and kindness and chastity and temperance and all of the godly energies, the godly virtues. That is what your soul will share space with in your body. But your soul will not share energy with wrath, greed, gluttony, envy, sloth, pride. It's not going to do it. So your soul-body relationship becomes compromised when you welcome in any of the evil or negative energies. And then that is what possesses you. And from that point of energy, you live your life, creating for yourself and everyone around you hell on earth instead of heaven on earth, right? So this is not easy. I could talk to you about this for 100 hours. And there's exercises you can do to rid yourself of these possessive energies that like to take over your humanity so that you can have hell on earth instead of heaven on earth. It's not easy to achieve heaven on earth. And the reason it's not easy is because now that we have the knowledge of evil on earth, now that Adam and Eve ate the damn apple, now we have to be aware of this negative energy and we have to dance on the earth with this energy. But that is where our free will comes in. That is your free will. You get to choose if you want to host negative or if you want to host positive. If you host negative, your soul is going to dodge out and step off to the side while you're hosting a demonic or negative energy that is of evil nature that walks around the earth and tries to, get one person, get the next person, get the next person, get the next person, get the next person. Somebody put these negative energies in you. Somebody else did that. How did wrath get in me? Well, my dad used to hit me when I was a little girl really hard, and he was angry. And so wrath found its way into me when I was a little girl. And then as I got older, I knew how to host wrath. I knew how to be angry. I knew how to be venomous with people, because wrath does that. These negative energies do that. They get somebody, and then their job is to infect everybody in its orbit. So then wrath only deals with wrath. So wrath wins when a husband and a wife are both angry and they're fighting like cats and dogs, and they want to destroy each other, and they come to a place of hate for one another. This happens in friends, and this happens with families. And what is it really? Did you ever get in an argument with somebody and you're angry and they're angry, and you say stuff and they say stuff, and you weren't angry to begin with, but they were angry, and then they said something, and then you felt anger come into you and take over you, and then you and them, all you did was argue and bicker and fight, and then tomorrow, when anger is gone, when anger has left your being, now you want to apologize for everything that you said and everything that you did, because wrath is no longer, you are no longer sharing your body space with that negative energy. And then your own soul energy and love energy comes back, and that's what then makes your state of existence. All the negative energies, what they want to do is they want to get you. They want you to host them. And then when you host them, their job is to go through you to somebody else. And they will do it. And you've seen it. And you've hosted it, and so have I. And you've been party to it, and so have I. And in this video, what I'm trying to say is push those negative energies out of your body. If you do not, you will have heaven. You will have hell on earth. If you can invite in its replacement the godly energies, or the energies that are connected to God and to love into your being, then you will create a sense of heaven on earth. Okay? That is what this is about. I met patience, independent. I met wisdom, independent. I met wrath, independent. I met envy, independent. These are not feelings. These are states of existence that you choose to allow into your being. And if you host the good ones, your soul stays next to you, within you, as part of you. If you don't host those, and you host all the other ones, then your soul steps off to the side, and you become what those energies are. Okay? Now, I thank you for watching my video, and I hope that explains what I'm trying to convey. And if you are politically sensitive, turn off this video right now. If you are politically sensitive, turn off this video right now. Okay? Okay. So folks, for those of you that are not politically sensitive, I want you to take a look at our current president, Donald Trump. Who is he, and what does he host? Does he have a soul? Does his soul participate in his body? Is his soul the main expression of his state of existence to the world? After the video that I just explained, after the concepts I just explained, we have godly energies, we have evil energies. Free will says we get to choose which ones to host. If we host the negative, our soul steps back and separates itself from our body. If we, therefore, the only energy within us is one of those negative things that we've chosen. If we choose the godly energies, patience, kindness, and love, our soul likes to stay connected to us. Excuse me. Excuse me. Our soul likes to stay connected to us, okay? So, if you pay attention to Donald Trump, who speaks for him. I've heard speaking through him. I've heard wrath. I've heard lust. I've heard greed. I've heard gluttony. I have heard envy. I have witnessed sloth in him. I mean, the guy spends the day at, the golf course during the middle of a pandemic. Sloth. Right? So if you pay attention to the negative energies that we have, when Donald Trump speaks, see if you can figure out what evil is speaking in him. If you can figure out what evil is speaking in him, and you voted for him, then you know what evil dominates you. Evil can only speak to evil. And we have all hosted every single one of those negative energies because we're human beings, because we live on earth. So we have all hosted envy. We've all hosted sloth and greed and gluttony and lust and wrath and pride. We've all hosted them. We have all become those energies at different times of our life until we wake up and we realize that this is the devil's playground, but that I have free will to choose differently. And then we eradicate those energies from our body. And we don't let them back in. So when my friend called and she was angry and wrath tried to get from her into me, I said, no, you cannot live in here. And I refused to entertain it. And I got off the phone with my friend. I said, you know what? I got to go. I'm sorry. I'll call you later. Because I can't host it. Because I won't let it in me. Because if it gets in me, then my experience is going to be hell on earth. So I ignored it and walked away and didn't entertain it. Just like God wanted Adam and Eve to do. Do not entertain it. Don't eat the forbidden fruit. Don't let it in you. Don't put it in you. Don't accept it in you. The knowledge of evil and negative energy. I have been really upset since 2016 when Donald Trump got elected. And if you want to unfriend me or not watch me again because you think that this is a political statement, feel free to do so. Because what this is actually about is asking you to check yourself. Donald Trump doesn't function from the nature of his soul. He functions from the nature of the energies he chooses to host. And that's how he was able to get so many supporters. Because anger spoke to anger. Wrath spoke to wrath. Greed spoke to greed. Gluttony spoke to gluttony. Sloth spoke to sloth. What were you hosting within you when you thought you wanted him as your president? Did he speak to your lustful self? With Stormy Daniels? Did he speak to your greedy self? Did he speak to your gluttony self? Did he speak to your wrath self? Did he speak to your envy self? What part of you did he talk to? What part were you hosting? That's how he is able to get them. That's how. So think about it. When people speak to you, when you speak to people, who is speaking through that person to you? And who is speaking through you to that person? if it's something other than your soul, if it's something other than patience or humility, chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, kindness, compassion, and love, then you are living hell on earth and inviting others to live it with you. So, the only reason I use Donald Trump today is because he is a great example for everything evil. He's a great example for every negative energy that inhabits this earth, that takes possession of us. He has them all. Do you? Thank you for watching today. I look forward to next time, folks. Have a great day.